Fly Me to the Moon is from Greg Berlanti, director of Love, Simon. The screenplay was from first-time writer Rose Gilroy, based on a story by Keenan Flynn and Bill Kirstein. I saw it through a mystery pre-screening via AMC Screen Unseen the week before, but it came out the same weekend as Longlegs, so I decided I should probably pair it with that. Sorry Beverly Hills Cop 4, maybe next week. It stars Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. Tatum is an engineer for the Apollo 11 mission, and Johansson is an ad executive who was hired to get investors and the general public excited for the mission. And they meet and slowly develop a relationship. But then eventually, a government official played by Woody Harrelson gets her to film the fake version of the moon landing, which goes against everything Tatum's worked for. Great, a conspiracy movie in 2024, co-starring anti-vaxxer Woody Harrelson. But no, it isn't like that. It's not about the faking so much as whether or not it should be faked. It's a movie about the artificialness of advertising versus legitimate human progress, and that's easily the most interesting aspect of this movie. It's also a romantic comedy, and it works in that way too since the two leads have chemistry. And the script is interesting and surprisingly well written. It also does a good job of recreating the time period, although I guess it's a little less impressive when you find out that this had a budget of over $100 million. Like, it's good, but it could have probably been done with a lot less. That budget is also probably a big part of why it's apparently not doing so well right now, although it might not be too bad because it's an Apple film, so it will make its money back through streaming somehow. But either way, it looks like Apple films are really bad with money, not just because they always have high budgets, but because they don't know what to do with them. Argyle also had a $100 million budget and looks like a sci-fi channel movie half the time. And now this one has a smaller budget but looks like a good movie in the $50 to $75 million range. But whatever, it's still an above average rom-com that was a lot better than I was expecting. Although the history of revisionism tale is a little more interesting than the romance most of the time. It's long, especially for a rom-com at 132 minutes, and it's probably that intrigue that makes it not feel bloated as just a period piece. But once again, the romance is also nothing to complain about.
We are about to witness the takeoff of the first manned rocket to outer space. We pick up the count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
We're off to visit the planets. There are treats galore in the stars. Venus is loaded with candy, and ice cream is found upon Mars. But the best of them all is the planet, where all of these treats are at hand. And that is the spot we now head for, our theater refreshment stand.
Man does not easily change environments. So in going to the moon, Apollo astronauts take part of the Earth with them. Oxygen to breathe, food and drink for nourishment. Like the energy breakfast drink of Earth, Tang, with more vitamin C than orange juice. Tang, proud of its role in this new environment, but also proud of its bigger role in the Earth's environment.
Longlegs is from Osgood Perkins, the mind behind indie horror films like The Black Coat's Daughter, and has now made his first one to get any real mainstream attention. It stars Micah Monroe from It Follows as a detective set to find a serial killer whose work spans decades. For a movie like this, it's easy for it to get overhyped. I tried not to get into too much of the overwhelming praise beforehand. Is it the new Silence of the Lambs? No. The way people are talking about this, I was still half expecting to tell YouTube that it was the scariest movie since Hereditary. Well, it's not. But it's still a really good horror movie. In addition to having an interesting mystery, it's also shot and presented in a very creepy way. The cinematography creates a sense of dread. It's so engrossing that the experience of watching the movie would still be interesting and scary even without the story. The serial killer is played by Nicolas Cage, and Neon has mostly kept him out of the marketing. And that's only so the viewer can experience him fresh, because he delivers the performance of the year and probably one of the best performances of his career. He makes this guy so genuinely creepy. He draws a little from his over-the-top style, yet keeps it restrained enough that it never becomes unintentionally funny. The studio has a video on the YouTube channel about Micah Monroe's first experience acting with Nicolas Cage and how unsettled she was. For some reason they have some record of her heartbeat during the scene so they can show just how much it raised. And even if you doubt that they decided to measure her heartbeat, if you see the performance you might not doubt her reaction at all. But the movie's not perfect. Not all of the aspects of the mystery's resolution are satisfying, particularly the turn toward the supernatural. Maybe it would have worked a little better if they leaned into it a little more, but as of now it just seems out of place. I was stuck between 4 and 4.5 because of that, but I decided that the rest of the movie was great enough that the out-of-place elements were forgivable enough for a low 4.5. And no, that wasn't the only thing that kept it from a 5-star Silence of the Lambs masterpiece for me. I don't have a lot of complaints about the rest of it, but I just don't think it quite reached that level. But it's still my new favorite horror movie of the year, at least so far. Come for the mystery and the scary atmosphere, stay for a masterful Nick Cage performance.